I realized how lazy I was recently. I was watching a football game, and I was sitting on my couch, and I was going to get something to drink. Right when I get up to go, one team kicked off to the other team. Before I could get back, they ran a 100-yard kickoff return, and I missed it. Like, the guy ran 100 yards before I could get 3 to maybe 4 yards. That guy also had 11 people really trying not to let him run 100 yards. I had nobody. No one cared what I was doing. When you watch sporting events, too, I feel like the commercials that they have, they're like advertising towards like professional athletes. Like, they have like running shoes. They're like, oh, you should buy these shoes. Then it shows like an NFL player like running with a tire tied to his back. And you're like, all right, well, how do those shoes look with jeans and sitting down? Because that's how I will be using them. I got to get tire and a rope. That's a lot. That's a lot you're asking. Someone gave me an Under Armour shirt. Do you know those? It's like skin tight. Like it just shows the worst parts of your body. I look better without a shirt on than with that shirt on. Just brutal. You know, like in plastic surgery, how they draw like markers on you and stuff? Like, they should just put you in that shirt and be like, obviously, you can see where we're gonna go after the target areas. I always tell people I gotta get back in shape, but I mean, I've never been in shape. So most people are like, if I can get back to my 20s, I would have to go back to 7. Like, if I could get back to when I was 7, I was killing it. For me, a good workout would be walking to McDonald's would be a great start. You know, maybe stand up and eat it, see if that does something. Instead, I ordered the P90X videos. Thought I could do that. You know, never worked out a day in my life, so let's do what the Navy SEALs do. I did not do it. You know what made me order it? Like, you know in the commercial, you know they show like a before body and then an after body? I was like blown away by the before body. I thought that's what you get to look like. I was like, that guy looks great. Then I saw the after body and I was like, does the before body guy have a DVD? Because that guy looks more my speed, you know? Like, what did he do to get to that? And I'll just do that. I travel a lot, and you know, it's not easy when you travel a lot. When you fly a bunch, you just think you're gonna die a bunch. I fly all the time. I was going through security recently, and this lady in front of me told the TSA agent that she was nervous about standing in like the X-ray machine, and then the TSA agent goes, "Well, it's a lot safer than that plane you're about to get on." All right, like what? What plane is she about to get on? Do you know something about that plane? Like, why would you say that? Have you ever, like, got on a flight and just looked at everybody already on it? It just looks like a group that would go down in a plane crash, like, for some reason. You're like, I feel like I've seen y'all before. I had a pilot tell us right before we take off that he was retiring, and this was his last flight. You're like, just say that when we land, dude. We'll be the same people, you know? Like, why are you putting this much pressure on this flight? He's basically just like, either way, this is my last flight. So I don't even like to change flights because I'm afraid I would change into one that goes down. And that would be so frustrating. Just everybody's crying, and you're like, you think you guys are upset? I paid $200 extra to get on this flight. Like, you guys are lucky. I was going through a small airport like recently, and like so they just had like the metal detector, and so we go through, and a guy in front of me, it beeps. And then they asked him, they're like, hey, do you think, they're like, do you have anything metal on you? And he was like, my keys. He's like, do you think that would do it? And it was like, I think that would be the #1 answer on Family Feud of what would set a metal detector off. Keys? We thought he was gonna be like his knee or something. He's like, keys, do you think? You're like, let's just try it without it and see what happens. When you're married, fighting is open 24 hours, anytime. We got in a fight recently at 3 a.m. We woke up to get in this fight. And we have we live in Nashville, and we have a dog that freaks out when it thunders. So it was like thundering. So we have sedatives to give her because there's only so many times you can tell a dog it's just thunder before you're like, just take this. Hope this works. I'm not going to hold you through it, you know. So I wake up, and I had asked my wife. I was like, hey, where are the sedatives at? And she was like, they're at the top of the cabinet. So I go get them. When I get them, I looked at the bottle, and the bottle said they were expired. So I had to like wake her back up. And I was like, hey, these say they're expired. And she was like annoyed. She was like, they're not expired. Those are new pills in an old pill bottle. And I was like, all right, you know, I should have thought of that. That's my fault. I mean, people come to our house all the time and they get milk and they're like, is this milk expired? And I have to go, that's new milk in an old milk jug. Are you the stupidest person I've ever met in my life? How could you not figure that out? That's basically what I told her. It wasn't as fun as that, you know, but that was the gist. And instead of just saying, you're right, that's a logical statement, she dives all in and tells me it doesn't matter because dog medicine can't even expire, which she's never even heard a rumor about that. She doesn't know that. We don't know any dog medicine people. I know who she knows, and we don't know one dog medicine maker that's like texting her like, let me tell you a little secret about dog medicine. We've invented medicine that can't expire. My last name is Bargatze. I know nothing about the history of my family. I've never like really looked into it. So I asked a great uncle, told me a pretty wild story. We had a guy in our family he got killed, got murdered actually by a sickle, like the thing the Grim Reaper carries. And this was like the 1800s too, just so you don't have to feel, it's not a recent story. We're over it as a family. So the guy, it was his own fault too. The guy's nickname, they called him Two Thumbs Bargatze. And the reason they called him that was because he had two thumbs on one hand, but still had the other thumb. So not even a good nickname. I'm Two Thumbs Bargatze. Everybody but him is Two Thumbs Bargatze. He's the only not two thumbs we've ever had in the history of our family. So, like I said, he was a troublemaker. Two Thumbs, he was hooking up with this guy's wife. So he's at her house. He leaves. The neighbor sees him. He gives him two thumbs, one hand up, you know. And the neighbor's like, all right. The husband gets home. The neighbor was like, hey, your wife's cheating on you with this dude. And he was like, who's the guy? And he was like, I don't know his name, but he had two thumbs on one hand, if that helps. And, you know, the guy was like, that helps a lot. I didn't know you were going to be that specific, so I know exactly who it is. So Two Thumbs was at home. This is all what I was told. He was at home. He was gardening. He was extra good at gardening. And he's sitting there. He's gardening. And the sickle's there. And then he kills him. He kills him with it. And that's it. That's basically it. But here's the lesson. All right, guys? The lesson is if you're doing something shady, that's not the time to stand out. You know? Like, you don't want to be different then. Put your dumb hand in your pocket. If I had 3 legs and was going to rob a bank, I'm going to be the getaway driver. I'm not going to gallop in the bank with all 3 legs. I was with a buddy, and we rented a car. He's driving. On the way out there, I see a dead horse. I mean, just laid out in someone's yard. And I've never seen that before. And I was like, man, I bet you don't think about that when you buy a horse. Like it dying, like you don't fast forward that far. You know, that's a huge thing, dying in your yard. That's the weight of a horse, you know? I mean, you can't just scoot it off into the woods with your foot and be like, let's try to get another one before the kids come home. You have to tell your wife to keep the kids away for a month. You gotta Google how to move a dead horse. You gotta possibly get another horse to help you do it. And that's not going to be easy, you know? I think that's what the blinders are for, because it's like, just look ahead. Don't worry about what's going on back here. Or you got to get your friends to help you do it, and you can't spill the beans too quick on that. You know, you think it's hard to get them to help you move a couch, try a dead horse. I mean, you gotta lie to them. You gotta just be like, we're getting a divorce. We hate each other. Just come over. Bring your truck though, and when they pull in there, let me tell you, they're gonna see it. All right, everybody saw it. It was next to the road, so they're gonna pull into that driveway and be like, man, I don't think they're getting a divorce at all. I think we're here to move that dead horse, is what I think. And I say, let's let him bring it up, make him ask, but I will be shocked if we don't touch that dead horse today. And look, if you ever have to move a dead horse, I've clearly thought about it. And you want to be the first one to the horse. You don't want someone else to tell you where to grab a dead horse. So you just run out there like you love it, like it's the third one you've done that day, and get to the hoofs and go ahead and start lifting and be like, you guys get where you guys got to get, some guys down there, and let's just get it over with. I was golfing recently. You get done, you get very hot and sweaty, and I wanted to change shirts before I drove back. So I go to the trunk of my car and staying in the parking lot. I take my shirt off. I have no shirt on, and this old man walks up to me and goes, Olivia? He was looking for his elderly wife and saw me with no shirt on at a car that he does not recognize. None of this is enough to not make him say, he's like, Olivia? I was embarrassed. I turned around, like, covered up. I was like, what's that? I go, what'd you say? And he was like, all right, my bad. Honest mistake. And I was like, God, that hurts worse than saying Olivia. I don't know who he offended more, me or Olivia. I think we could both have a word with him. I'd love to meet her, though. I'll tell you that. I'd love to see her and be like, all right, I get it. Like just... I'm married as well, and my wife always tells me that I don't like the way she talks. And it's not her voice. I like the sound of her voice. That'd be a big problem, I think, if it was like, it's your voice. I just hate it. To go to couples therapy and be like, can you hear it right? Like, it's not, it's not fun. It's the information that she chooses to tell me at times. We took a trip to Fort Lauderdale, and her and our daughter are flying from Nashville, where we live. And I was flying from Detroit. We're meeting at Fort Lauderdale's airport. I have to find them when they land. So I called her because I was about to take off, and I was like, all right, what time do you guys leave? And she goes, noon. It's 11:30, and they're still at home. I was like, Laura, I don't know if you even know what an airport is. I mean, but if that plane was in our driveway, I don't think you could make it. She said, that's what time we leave for the airport. Our flight's not till 1:30. And I was like, all right, okay. So what do you think I wanted to know when I asked that? Is that what you thought the best information you could give me was a time that means nothing to nobody? What time did you go to bed last night? Just tell me that, and I'll just look up all the planes that land in Florida, and I'll guess which one I think you're on. She said, I'm sorry I don't talk the way you want me to talk. I'm like, I want you to talk like a regular person, all right? Just like you've been around people, We didn't talk in Florida, I'll tell you that.
Are you getting recognized more now that you're?
It happens, yeah. It happens more. It's all like gradual. Like it's not crazy. I can still go everywhere, but it's not a problem. But like when I get recognized, I always take pictures. Like none of this is lost on me. I truly appreciate it. But I always want to say, like, sometimes when it happens, I want people to know, like, when you leave after you take this picture, I then have to explain who I am to like 30 people. So you put me in like a whole thing, like and I'll still do it, but then you leave and they're like, why did they do that? They just come up and ask.
Yeah, they go,
who are you? Why did they do that? And they're mad about it. And I'm like, I go, I'm a comedian. They're like, I've never heard of you. I was like, I wasn't walking around saying I'm a comedian. I was at the airport one time and this guy overheard that and he asked me, he goes, is there any money in that? Like he might do it. Like he, like just was like, if he could do it, I mean, obviously. I'll do it if there's money in it. And it goes, yeah.
I was just talking to Kate Blanchett about New Year's resolutions. Are you that type of person? Is 2022 new Nate?
I hope so. So I have a whole thing. You know another place I got recognized recently? McDonald's. And that's always a tough one. If you're in McDonald's alone and then someone's like, hey, are you Nate? You're like, yeah, I'm sorry. You know? Because you're like, feel kind of bad being at McDonald's. Like, because I was 10 minutes from my house. That guy was on a road trip. Like, where it's like, that's all he has to do. And he's like, where do you live? I go, I live 10 minutes from here. I'm here just a regular day during this is just my lunch today. It wasn't a special thing. I mean, I was sitting there, I was holding a popcorn bucket of soda, just like that. It's so much, like I love it so much. And you fill it up and it just keeps going. It's so, like when it keeps going, it's long enough that you go, I gotta fix my life, dude. And then
it just keeps coming.
And it just keeps coming. Like you have a long time to think about it. And then I'll take a little sip to make sure everything's cool. And then I'm like, well, I'm about to fill it back up. You know, I don't want to get stuck out. What if I get lost in the road somewhere? And then we took a picture. And I love McDonald's. We should show McDonald's more respect, to be honest.
Yeah.
People go in there with sweatpants, you should have a tuxedo. It's the most successful restaurant on earth.
Yeah.
Should be like, it's an honor you even opened the door for me. I come from nothing. So
yeah, you feel like people should give that more respect, but that's
but you can't do that much of it. I think too, you know what's hilarious too? So I have a podcast, the Nateland podcast. Hello, folks, for the people listening. But I told that my mouth has been dry lately, and I said it on the podcast, and they were like, you probably have type 2 diabetes. So I was in that McDonald's when that guy came up to me. I was Googling how to check for diabetes at home, like in there. And so I was in the McDonald's just Googling that. I mean, just at a low point, you know? And but I was like, but I had to check it like that.
You're Googling that while you're getting a 98-ounce soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And type 2 is the earned kind. That's not, type 1, you gotta, you gotta clock in and clock out every day.
Gotta put the
you
work
show
in.
up, dude. They don't just give it to you, you gotta get after it. I found out, but I did an at-home test before I came here.
Yeah.
Because you have to like stab your finger,
Yeah, sure.
And my wife did it, and she did it pretty hard. Because I couldn't do it, so I had her do it with the little thing, and I mean, it was just the most blood. I was like, how deep do you want to go, And I'm on like the beginning of pre-diabetic. Like I'm right on I'm a little normal. It's like, it'd be like if there was like a no trespassing sign and you walked in and you heard a gunshot and you're like, you can either just go be normal or you can be like, well, I'm gonna go see where that gunshot came from.
That's where you are.
I'm right there on the edge.
With your diabetes.
That's how I look at diabetes.
But
no trespassing.
Are you cutting back on sugar? Or are you?
I don't know, man. I had gummy. I do need to. I'm reading a book about it because I do think I'm addicted to sugar. So I eat ice cream every night, and it's so much ice cream. I like ketchup. I like to use enough ketchup that the person next to me has to go, man, that's a lot of ketchup. They have to feel like they have to get involved. And they're like, that's a lot, isn't it? And I'm like, is it? I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not, I don't. I ate gummy bears last night in the hotel, and I didn't want to, but I love them so much.
Hey, this is terrible.
I love French toast and pancakes, and I eat it every day, and it makes me so tired. And I don't know, and I never blame the pancakes. I'm like, what is up today, man? Like, I guess I didn't get sleep last night.
Last time you said you were going to cut down on sugar and you're going to get into health. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
You look
it's gotten better. I still have just meltdowns where I'll still go to McDonald's, went to a McDonald's, and I had to open my door one time because my window wasn't broke. That was pretty sad. That's sad for me and them. It's like me and the McDonald's worker are all just like, what are we doing with our life? Like, they shouldn't see your whole body in a drive-through window. They shouldn't, like, you just have to open it and you're like, and you just take all the food, and they see your shoes, and you're like,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
you're like, I don't know, dude. I should have just not done it. The one day my window goes down every day on earth of my life. And the one day it doesn't, I'm like, well, I'll probably do a drive-through that day. And
You're glutton for punishment, man. That's terrible.
it's brutal.
That's terrible.
But I have gotten better. I'm 43. 43, you still think you're young. You know, like I'll hang out like a 23-year-old and I'm like, you get it, dude? We're just a couple young dudes kicking it. And some guy will be like, I'm 45. I'm like, beat it, old man. I can't believe that guy had the nerve to hang out. You know, let's go sit down a little bit. I went and got a physical recently, and after your 40s, I'll tell you, before 40, you go through like a drive-through window. It's like they're just like, you move your neck, and they're like, come on, man, you're wasting everybody's time, all right? Go live a life. And then you pass 40, and the doctor's like, you mind shutting that door behind you? You know? He's like, I'd lock it, we're about to get after it. And it was the first time I've ever been talked to old, and so it was just me and him. And he goes, "Do you pee a lot at night?" And I was like, "Did my dad just walk in the room? Like, how old? You know, I've never peed at night in my life." I was like, "How about that? I don't pee till the sun goes down." But I did. I was like, "But you know, just so I know, what is a lot? What is a big amount?" And I'll tell you what, he's ruined me. I only pee at night now. I would love to pee during the day. My body's like, enjoy the day. We'll get it out tonight. Don't worry about it. Have fun.
Things are going super well. You started this new company called the Nateland, Nateland Company. Nateland. And it's a production company. You're making family-friendly comedy specials on YouTube right now.
Yeah, right now the Showcase is on Nateland Entertainment YouTube. It's the Showcase is
Nateland?
out. Nateland Entertainment.
But then you also said Nateland.
Nateland. I say Nateland.
No, you didn't.
When?
I think you said Nateland. I said Nateland, and you go Nateland. I go, oh, was I saying it wrong?
Well, that might be my accent. That shouldn't count as me mispronouncing. You should be able to read through and go, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like that's...
No, I just didn't know if I was saying it wrong. I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
I think anything I say, you could be like, you're probably said it right. I told you, I think you say our last name correct with Bargatze, and I think we say it wrong as a family. Bargatze.
For years, I've been calling you Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, and I just went with that because you were so big, it was easier just to... It's just easier to do whatever you choose. You go.
I don't want to name you, though, but your name's Nate Bargatze.
Mark Maron once called me Nick, and I was like, I'll just be Nick. Like, it was enough people that was Nick. I was like, I'll just go with whatever's out there. We went to Europe last year. Europe's very old. That's what I learned last time in Europe. Like, because you think we're old as a country, and you get there and you're like, good night. You know, how long have y'all been over here? Australia, very far away, farther than I thought. Our Earth, a little bigger than I thought it was. And I think we should have went the other way as well, but the pilot had different plans. I had jet lag there. I did not mind it because I woke up at 5:45 a.m. and I don't ever wake up that early. So it was like a new life, you know? I was like first in line at the breakfast buffet. Here's what I'll tell you. If you get up at 5:45 a.m., noon is pretty far away, though. I mean, I thought you bet your life it's noon, and it's maybe 8:30. Like, 6 p.m., you're like, I don't know how people are out.
How are they doing this?
What are they doing? Why won't the sun go down?